Okay, hopefully the audio is picking me up. We finally got the setup running. I'm gonna run the GoPro so that you guys can see what I look like. Has that worked? I can't tell. Yes, it has. Okay, 3, 2, 1, sync. Awesome. Future me is gonna hate me because I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing, but that's fine. Oh God. Let's actually load into a new workspace because that's not gonna look great when people are just watching. So, gonna load into Unity here. This is my workspace. I've made the screen larger just because hopefully for the audience it's a more pleasurable viewing experience. You might be asking, why can't you just show me what you're seeing exactly and not go through Unity? Well, that's boring, and I can't do that because OBS has been really hard to work with in the past hour, so just deal with it. Okay, so this is officially my VR Wizard personal project. I say VR Wizard, but as you can tell, this is nothing close to a finished game because I am a terrible person and really lazy over the summers. Okay, let's get into it. This is a ball. It's bouncy, really awesome. It's blue. As you can see, I've put it in interaction where I can touch with things. Really straightforward. Yeah, wow, cool. You can move things around. You're a really terrible wizard. Yeah, I agree. So let's spawn in some other things. So I've bound the action spawn cubes to my right grip. So there you go. Let's show off the first thing I've made. So the first mechanic I've made, you need to stop rolling, making me nervous. Okay, the first thing I've made is something called a force push. Here it is. I use trigger, I select a group of objects, and they float on over to me. This would be really cool in real life, because as everyone knows, I am one of the most laziest people in the world. Let's show off something I like to do, actually, as one of the first demos when people load into my really fully functioning game. So I'm going to spawn in a bunch of cubes here. And one of the great things about Unity is that all the interactions and physics that you assign to a particular object remains. So I actually don't have to do that much coding other than saying this controller does this and this controller does this. Another cool thing I want to show you is, so I'm gonna select that group of cubes and select this group of cubes with my left and right respectively, or reverse respectively. I don't know how that works. And because of the fact that I can assign interactions to different groups of cubes, I can do this, which is first of all freaking awesome, and especially in VR, and then I can separate them again. And of course, every single cube knows what parent object has assigned actions to it. So even though it looks extremely hectic and chaotic, my poor 950M graphics card can still do this. And I just think that's a really cool thing. Also, if you hear my computer whining, I apologize. I'm trying to record with OBS, and then I'm recording audio, and then I'm doing some weird GoPro stuff. So all of this is one of the crazier things that I've tried to set up. Okay, so moving on, you saw the force push. Finally, I have a, not finally, next thing up on the list, I have a force shield, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. So this looks really dumb, and honestly I don't understand why anyone would use it, but I'll explain why. So, as you know, wizards are cool, and they like to battle. So I've modeled all of this off of Harry Potter. Basically, oh yeah, one thing I want to note is that when I do this force push thing, you'll notice that there's like a slight vertical bias. Right? It's not like a perfect, you lift and everything lifts in one equal plane. So I want to go for like a little bit of a Harry Potter effect there. If you know, like the candle scene in one of the great dining halls, they have like floating candles. Yeah, so hopefully for people who appreciate small aesthetic things, that's one of them that I've done. So back to the force shield. So the original idea of this game, quote unquote, is that I was going to have this sort of multiplayer experience where you would have to do a lot of quick actions and quick thinking, just like League or Dota or what have you. So someone, let's just say, let's do a really dramatic enactment. So let's just say someone's shot over a bunch of deadly cubes. What I can do is I can freeze these cubes and use it as a force shield. Clearly not effective right now, but I'm working on it. So the point of this force shield is that you're basically like Neo, and any sort of game objects within a rectangular space around your controller will be frozen in zero gravity, which is actually really cool. So I can still interact with these things, as you notice. I just love playing around with this kind of things. And again, the cool thing about Unity is that physics remains. So this was actually almost originally a bug, because I was like, oh wait, these things are still rotating in space. And I realized, oh, it's in zero gravity, I can still play with these. So yes, back to the point. Neo stops bullets, and it looks really cool, so why can't you? So yeah, we can also do like a live demonstration. This is what I did in the other recording that I had to get scrapped because I forgot to record the GoPro. So let's just say something's coming over, force shield, stops it immediately. One more time, force shield. And Yeah, so also one really cool thing I found out last time is that I can actually force shield with my right hand, and then I can force push with my right hand as well using the trigger. Let's do that again, using the trigger. And so I can force push it away, and if I let go of the trigger, the force shield still remains and I can manipulate it. And I can actually do both at once if well, it's too far away now. I can actually do both at once like this. So I can rotate it and move it around with my force shield. I can also push it like that with my force push. So again, cool thing about Unity is that I guess I should stop complimenting Unity and start complimenting my coding a little bit more, but you know, that's what I expect to do in a video. Cool thing in general about what I've done and what Unity's done is that I can just do multiple sort of interactions, and because it's clean enough, the code is clean enough to know which parent object is to which and it doesn't get confused, I can do a lot of these really cool multifunctional task things, right? So that one was just assigned to my left, that one was assigned to both, and I'm going to let go now with my thumb pad. There it goes. Awesome. Yes, so final couple of notes. Oh yeah, I didn't get to show off one of the more exciting parts of this. So, again, let's just say that someone's firing some really deadly blocks at you, and you don't know what to do and your force shield's on cooldown or something. Yes, so that is what I like to call a force explode. Basically, I've set it so that in a radius or a sphere around your headset, I believe, if you press both grips at the same time, everything in that radius will just shoot outwards away from you, which I think is also really cool. So, yeah. Finally, just a couple developer notes. So the beginning was mainly for people who just wanted to oohs and ahs. If you're here to know more about like the process of this, I'll go really quickly, just kind of overview the coding. So if you notice when I point at things to force pull them, first of all, the center object has a green outline that you can see through other objects. I have to say this is really, really trippy to do in VR, because normally you're not used to seeing things through other things. And the reason why I've done that is because, well, first of all, the way the force push works is that, I'm going to try and model in VR, there's a line that goes straight up from the back of the controller to the front, and it goes straight out like a laser. Unfortunately, it's invisible, so it's not very helpful for humans. But what I've done is, I've basically said, wherever that laser hits, I want you to make a sphere around that hit point, and those are going to be the game objects you're working with for this interaction. So here's an example. And the really awkward thing about this is that at the beginning when I was playing around with it, I forgot to actually make the floor immutable. So the first thing I did was I missed the cube because I can't see the laser, and I hit the floor, and then the floor moved around, which was really, really trippy as well. So hopefully in the future I won't be as lazy and I'll code in an actual laser that I can see, or maybe like a temporary one. But yeah, you get the point. And so I also coded it so that if you miss an object on the floor, instead of moving the floor, it does a hit point at that area where it hits, and then it just does the sphere. So yeah, really, really interesting sort of game design problems. I say game design problems, it's more of just like try not to be a really terrible 5-year-old who doesn't know how to code. What are some other things that I want to show off? I already showed off this really cool thing that I've done. Oh right, so one of the other things I want to talk about is I guess human error. So a lot of times people panic or they just like miss. So one of the things that I've done to account for that is, like I said, missing a game object, and they don't really know the interaction just by looking at the controller. So why should they get punished, right, for not being able to accurately click at an object like that? Another thing I want to talk about is that basically if I miss my force push like this, it'll do a sphere anyways around the controller just because I thought that that'd be helpful. So I actually put in a lot of really unfortunate friends into the simulation, or just play around, just see what happens. And a lot of times people would click away when they were panicking. So for example, I do this, right? And I'm used to this, so as a seasoned veteran, I don't really care if a bunch of imaginary blocks fall on me. But sometimes people will do this, and then they'll actually let go. And suddenly everything's falling directly on them, like so. And that's, you know, pretty scary thing. I put my 50-year-old dad through this, and he did not like it at all. So let's just say this actually happens. I don't want to stop it with the force shield. Instead of having to aim, well, okay, that's a bad example. Instead of having to aim, I can just go off to the side and it'll collect. And you might say, okay, the force shield doesn't matter because I can't see it and it's not aimable. So same thing applies to the force push. Also, if you can't tell, I'm really terrible at naming things. This is like a very impractical way to do it. So yeah, as you can see, that line does not hit anything, nothing's highlighted, it did not hit the ground, but it still works in a sphere because it's good, you know, it's good customary, it's good thing, words, English. I might cut this out. It's good practice to make sure that you're accommodating for the people who are inside VR, because let's be honest, VR is not actually like real life as much as we want it to be. And finally, some last design notes. I keep on saying finally. This is like George R.R. Martin trying to finish off his goddamn book. Finally, the physics you see here is actually relatively smooth, and I want to say I'm actually really proud about this. Everything is very minimalistic as of now, which sounds like a bad thing because it's like, wow, you can't even add textures. But no, it's actually good because I'm running a Windows computer that has a 950 graphics card. That's barely equipped to run. Oh, hello there. That's barely equipped. I'm gonna have to blur that out or something. That's very rarely equipped to even run the HTC Vive to begin with, much less OBS, recording Unity, which is also running HTC Vive. So the fact that this is running smoothly, I'm actually really proud of. So if you want to talk about efficiency in game design, this is definitely one of it. This will run on pretty much anything at this point. So yeah, that's been my long-winded demo. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I'm probably really bad at recording, and this, for one, is not up to my standards of recording, but hopefully it's been entertaining and or informative. I'm not going to do any more of these recordings because my computer is about to die. So again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.